Whoa, welcome to Hot Takes with Chedda Chaz. I'm your host, Cheddar Belly, the Dawn. You see the motherfucking vinyl back there. Welcome to Hot Takes with Chedda Chaz. There's no hand holding. We do with facts, not emotion. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification if you haven't already. Shout out to Miller Lite, DraftKings, and Topo Chico. You guys should support them because they support us. Yo, before we get into the show, what's up with y'all, mans? Jake the Snake biting my style, stealing my rhymes. Like what's up with y'all, mans? This is like the 10th time it happened. Yo, get your mans. Like, you know what I'm saying? Talk to y'all dog. You understand? Tell them be original. You ain't gotta be me. You know what I'm saying? You my son and all that, but you don't gotta be like me. Be your own man. You know what I'm saying? What I say? Go be a legend in your skin. Go be a legend in your skin. With Ben Rames told Tyrese, nah, you can never be like me. You can never be me. Anyway, though, there's too much time on that clown. I'm going to say that for the third segment. But anyway, so the Cavaliers are officially out of the playoffs. It's over. It's a wrap. And they had a weird ending, bro, with the Spider had a calf injury. That's like the fourth calf injury I've seen this postseason. What's it? Spider, Dame, Giannis, and Giannis's brother tore his Achilles. Like, it's just crazy. I don't know what's happening, man. That's probably even more justification to, it's probably, it's not going to happen, but that's probably even more justification to potentially shorten the season a bit. By the time these guys get to the postseason, man, the wear and tear is just crazy. But, pause. But yeah, so I want to talk about Darius Garland. I know a lot of people like, oh, the Pelicans, they should have drafted Darius Garland with the 4th pick, or even traded that pick for Miles Turner, what have you. But look at it like this. The Pelicans don't have a great track record with developing offensive talent, right? Defensive talent, it's okay because you got your Herb Jones, even though he was an upperclassman. But they don't have a track record of putting young offensive talent in position to succeed and flourish. The Cavaliers did all of the grunt work for you. They did all of the hard work. They developed Darius Garland, turned him into an all-star. Let's see, Darius Garland's been in the league 5 years, one-time all-star, averages of 2 years in a row he's averaged 20. This year he averaged 18. He's been having a couple of freak injuries. I think he broke his jaw or something crazy this year. But man shot 37% from beyond the arc on 6 attempts this year. That's not incredible, but that it's cool. And the year before that, 41% on 6 attempts, consistently in that 6, 7, 8 range with assists. A little over 1 steal a game. Turnovers are relatively decent. Total rebounds, close to 3. He's, no one's going to confuse him with like some defensive savant. And you probably won't really confuse him with as an offensive savant. He's more of a guy who, he's just a consistent gamer. Stretch the floor, can get it to the teeth of the defense, can get to the line, shoots his free throws at a really good clip. Has some injury issues, but compared to the guys that you've had, he's a step above. Let's see. Lowest career games played have been 54. After that, 68 games, 69 games, 57 games. And the reason I think Darius Garland makes a ton of sense. I mean, we've been talking about Darius Garland behind the scenes for a while, right? The reason I think Darius Garland makes a ton of sense because right now he is viewed as a distressed asset. If you see that Shams article that came out immediately after the series, he probably had it, in the drafts for a minute, but it came out immediately after the series. Apparently Darius Garland, his agency, they making threats. They like, look, if y'all decide to extend Donovan Mitchell, we out of here. We want to go somewhere else. Darius Garland clearly feels like Donovan Mitchell is hurting his game, and the numbers kind of reflect it. They are an incredible pairing. The best version of the Cavaliers this season were with Spider out and Mobley out. The schedule was a little soft, but that team really excelled, and they were playing incredible basketball. I think they got a couple victories over the Celtics, a couple victories over, if I'm not mistaken, I think they beat Milwaukee as well. Yes, they had some solid victories, even though that schedule was a little, it wasn't, shit wasn't giant blaze. But that team was playing with intensity. They were locked in. The chemistry was there. And then Garland and Mobley came back, and it looked a little shaky. Like, what I'm saying? It looked a little shaky. Of course, Jarrett, Allen, and Mobley. Ill-fitting pairing at the 4 or 5. Mobley, another guy, doesn't really stretch the floor. He had an incredible game this postseason. Had a really solid game again tonight. But it's just not enough. Like, what I'm saying? It's not enough for you to say we're going to keep things how it is right now and we're going to give this team another year to see if we can figure it out, because the writing kind of been on the wall for Spider. In the Pelicans' best interest, Donovan Mitchell stays with the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's in the Pelicans' absolute best interest. Donovan Mitchell stays because that'll make them more eager to build a team to support Donovan Mitchell. Spider's still an incredible player, like incredible. So by them wanting to build a team, the thing they've needed the most all season has been on the wing. They tried Karis LeVert, shit didn't really work. That's not really Niang's thing, you know. He's more of a stretch four. I think they call him the minivan. In fact, that's how, you know, slow-footed he is. That motherfucker hit some huge shots though. But you know, Max Strus is backcourt player. Like, you know, they need help on the wing. Probably one of the better wings available right now is Brandon Ingram. Now, could they pivot and say, you know what, it may be cheaper to go get Jeremy Grant, who's locked into a long-term contract at a lower number, who also shoots threes? Technical difficulties, I'm back. Yeah, so you got a guy like Jeremy Grant, stretches the floor, doesn't have the creation ability that a Brandon Ingram has. But, you know, the last time you saw Brandon Ingram, it kind of left more of a bitter taste in some executives' mouth. Now, another thing from Shams today, he supposedly there was a poll done in Chicago where the combine is and the scrimmages are. And it's been stated that Brandon Ingram, amongst the polls amongst executives, Brandon Ingram will potentially have more suitors this offseason than a Trae Young. To me, not very surprising, because if y'all follow me on Twitter, it's going to be difficult to trade Trae Young for a number of reasons. None of them has anything to do with talent. It's going to be difficult to trade Trae Young because this is such a weird season. It's more of a buyer's market, in my opinion. It's more of a buyer's market with the draft being strange, with the salary cap implications, with a lot of like things that are happening with some of the players that are available on the market, with Paul George entering free agency, with a couple big teams having to consider blowing it up. Even the Phoenix Suns, they may potentially have to try to trade Kevin Durant. You don't know what's going to happen with the Warriors. You don't know what's going to happen with the Pelicans, right? So with Trae Young, it's going to be very difficult to get what you feel like is a maximum return, which in my opinion is at least an all-star, like a current all-star, and some picks. Like I just can't see who out there really for Trae Young. Like you would really be better suited kicking that can to the deadline and trying to put a package around DeJounte Murray and possibly the number one pick. You'd probably be better suited doing that. But for Brandon Ingram, it's not surprising, because I think a lot of teams feel like it may be an opportunity to buy low. Having more suitors don't necessarily mean you're going to get great offers. The best case scenario is you can have those those teams compete against one another and, you know, kind of start a bidding war. But teams really already know the Pelicans situation, for as Pelicans never paid the luxury tax, don't plan on paying the luxury tax, right? Brandon is an expiring contract. You got to play Trey Murphy. Trey Murphy probably wants to start. Pelicans don't have a center. Like, you know, the Pelicans need to create roster space. Brandon and Zion aren't really a great fit. The last time you saw Brandon Ingram, again, kind of left a bit of a bitter taste in your mouth. Pause. Kind of like them Built bars. Last time you saw Brandon Ingram, shit was like Built bars. Pause. But so now people know you got a decision to make. To me, Cleveland and New Orleans are in a similar situation. You got some ill-fitting parts, and you got a guy who may or may not want to be there moving forward, right? If you don't pay, look, as much as Brandon say he loves New Orleans, and I'm sure he does, if you don't give Brandon this motherfucking money, he probably wants to go somewhere else, right? If you don't give him the role that he wants, he probably wants to go somewhere else. Donovan Mitchell, you know, if you read the tea leaves, he's been wanting to make his way to the Northeast for a while now. He's been wanting to make his way to the Northeast for a while now. I don't think Brooklyn has the assets to get him. I don't think the Knicks have the assets to get him, right? So it probably would be in his best interest to kind of kick the can himself, like just stand pat, you know what I'm saying? See what Cleveland can put around you, and if the shit ain't working, then you make a move. Because again, that team was able to do some incredible things this season, especially with all the injuries they dealt with. So what does a trade package look like? I think the Pelicans got to decide They got to choose one of Dyson Daniels and Jordan Hawkins. For me, I would choose Jordan Hawkins because I think it's easier to teach Jordan Hawkins, to play competent defense than it is to teach Dyson Daniels to play competent offense. To me, Dyson Daniels is just, he's in fucking hell. And I just don't, I think it's too much. It's too much work just to get him. It would be too much work to even make Dyson Daniels bad at offense. That's how incredibly terrible he is. Like, you would have to work really hard just to make him bad. So I just think you would just go ahead, cut your losses with that, and focus your energy on developing Jordan Hawkins. Now, talk about Brandon Ingram, of course. I think if you want to go big, pause, and you want to try to make a move for Jarrett Allen, who Shams also mentioned in that article that Cleveland isn't very happy with Jarrett Allen due to his refusal to play through injury. I don't know if he had a bruised rib or what, but he refused to play through injury. So that's the second postseason in a row where his toughness has been questioned. And remember, he was quoted as saying the lights were too bright. So that's the second postseason in a row where his toughness has been questioned. That may have played a part in moving him this offseason. So if you want to go big, you add Larry into that trade. You add Dyson Daniels. And shit, I ain't gonna lie. I say you give him a couple of first. I say you at least give him pick 21. You got at least give him pick 21. You got a recent All-Star, and you got Jarrett Allen, who should have been an All-Star. Yeah, yes, those are regular season rewards, but yet still, even in the postseason, they kind of had a better effort than the guy you're trading. This postseason, Darius Garland averaged 16 points, shot 37% from three, field goal percentage 77. He didn't have a good postseason by any stretch of the imagination, but he still averaged 2 more points than Brandon Ingram. And Brandon Ingram was the focal point of the offense. So, I don't really know. I think the Pelicans may be the team adding the sweeteners in this scenario. I done some research on Darius Garland, bro. I'm not too worried about the small backcourt. I'm not. I think season before last, they were decent defensively. Him and Spider were decent defensively. Had a really solid defense with Mobley and Jarrett Allen anchoring the front court. Of course, in the postseason, everything got exposed. But when you're the Pelicans, you need to focus on comfortably getting to the postseason. You had the 6 ranked defense this season, and you still couldn't comfortably get to the postseason. Yeah, the Cleveland Cavaliers are in the East. Yeah, whatever. Motherfucker, Pelicans ain't in the East. Get over it, right? Cleveland Cavaliers comfortably got to the postseason while missing 3 of their star players for stretches at a time. 3 of their star players for stretches at a time. And even if Cleveland insists on taking back Jordan Hawkins, I say, cool. Give me I'll try to get Sam Merrill or Max Strus. If I can't get them, I'm like, give me Niang. Give me Niang. But I think the Pelicans gotta make this deal go through if possible, right? You get your starting point guard, get Jarrett Allen, and hopefully you're able to acquire a couple of, or at least one other mid-salary contract that you could potentially add in a trade at the deadline. I think the time to move CJ is at the deadline. So you at least want another mid-salary trade you can potentially add to CJ at the deadline. Now, here's your roster in this scenario. Darius Garland, Zion, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, CJ, who's temporary, and he got Jordan Hawkins. Jose is probably still on the roster unless you send Jose out in the Brandon trade. I don't really opposed to that. I'm not really opposed to that. Who you still got? Guys like Carlo, who you may never see. EJ Liddell still on the roster. You may never see him, right? So to me, I still don't think, and I like Darius Garland, but to me, Darius Garland clearly isn't a number 2 option on the championship caliber team. I think you hold on to CJ to the deadline. That way you keep enough of your trade assets and you keep enough of that powder dry to where whenever the true number 2 option, whenever that guy becomes disgruntled at this year's deadline or a team has to panic trade and blow it up, you're ready to pounce. CJ has 2 years left on his contract at $33 million, and I think it goes down to 30 in the final season, right? He's coming off a great year shooting the ball, didn't have a great playoff series, but for who people expect CJ McCollum to be moving forward in his career, he had a great year. So I think you keep enough of that powder dry till you get to the deadline. You package CJ McCollum with, you know, whatever other mid salary you got, you know, and then that's when you go for that true number 2 option, that disgruntled guy, whoever he may be. Or you might just use CJ to round out the rest of the roster. Go get you a backup big, go get you another backup point guard. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you use CJ to go get Wendell Carter Jr. and Cole Anthony potentially. You know what I'm saying? With a couple of firsts. Maybe you do that. But I think while I would love to, you really only need one big move this offseason. And I think the move is to trade for Darius Garland and Jarrett Allen. I think so. There's too much shit coming out immediately after that series. So that means someone in the Cleveland Cavaliers organization is furious at those 2 guys, right? I wouldn't be shocked if Clutch ain't put that shit out themselves, you know, just to kind of like say, hey, yeah, you know, Darius Garland, he's out of here, you know. But hey, I'm telling you, like that, for that shit to come out like that, that was a coordinated attack. So you got to pounce. You got to pounce while, you know, people not happy. You know, if the organization isn't happy with Jarrett Allen, Darius Garland isn't happy with the organization. You got to make the call. You got to make the call. All the hard work is done for you. They cannibalize themselves. You got to make the call. But that's been today's show. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification. If you know, ain't no fucking third segment. You think I'm talking about Jake the Snake again for another segment? You think I'm selling auto parts over here? We getting money. But anyway, yeah. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification if you haven't already. What y'all think in the comments, man? I know some people. Look, remember, you didn't have to draft Darius Garland. Cleveland did all the hard work for you. I know some people are like, well, look how Darius Garland performed in the playoffs. If he performed well, you wouldn't be able to get him. If Jarrett Allen played well, you wouldn't be able to get him. That's why we couldn't get Jarrett Allen this season. He was playing too well. So let me know what y'all think. Would you like to carry CJ to the deadline? Maybe CJ agrees to come off the bench. Who knows? Or would you say, fuck it, we got to blow it up now. CJ got to go now. Leave your thoughts. I'm out. Peace.